get to this watch party going on. Hey, what's going on, everybody? I am Sprout the Anti-Hero, and with me, as always, is Mr. Dusty Grant, and you're here live with us now at the Sprout and Dusty Show. How you doing today, Dusty?
I'm doing well, man. I'm fired up. I'm full of piss and vinegar. I'm feeling good. I'm itching. We had a week off.
Piss and vinegar, very similar.
Piss and vinegar. I'm feeling refreshed. I'm feeling good, man. How's life been going for you?
Man, life has all types of twists and turns, but you know what? The wheels on this old ass Cadillac keep on turning, bro. You know how it goes, man.
In style.
And I'm doing okay. I just had a vacation. Hey, how you doing, Sonny? Nice to see you, man. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, I just got back from a vacation last Sunday morning. I went to Wichita to see my family and hang out with the band, and I had dinner with my sons, and then I went camping and saw my mom in Oklahoma City, and then I went back to Wichita and had a barbecue with my crazy-ass family. It was just so much fun. I came back relaxed and rejuvenated, so that's good.
So it's been a while. It's been a while since you've been home to see family, right? I mean, last time.
Oh, yeah. It's been over a year.
Yeah.
It's been over a year. I mean, it was just really good to see them, and I miss them a whole lot. I have been homesick quite a few times over the last year, but being there just really put things into perspective on where I come from. Hey, how you doing, Jules? How you doing? Just put everything into perspective of what family means to me, and how we all got a family, and as long as we stick together, ain't nothing we can't accomplish. So to me, that's how I spent my Independence Day. How'd you spend yours, brother?
I spent it with family, man. We went over to my buddy's house, and in his neighborhood, everyone there is pretty much completely savage with fireworks. So I looked up a baked bean recipe. I whipped up my own, like, real spicy, homemade baked bean recipe. I didn't just take the canned shit over there. And we went to the fireworks store, and like I do every year, I bought some huge shit that I don't even know what it does, but I bought it, and we lit it off for the boys at my buddy's house, and they just loved it. Like, I remember when I was a little boy, my dad used to light off big stuff for me. So those are memories that I pretty much,
sure,
I have to create for them, because I remember every time the 4th of July comes around, I'm like a child for sure.
Oh, man, I remember being a kid and, growing up in Sedgwick County, Kansas. They didn't sell exploding fireworks like your mortar rounds and your exploding fireworks like firecrackers, M80s, whatever you can get your hands on. You had to go to the next county over for that, and that was Butler County. So we just take Kellogg all the way past the county line. 2 minutes later, there's all these tents, and so we'd always buy these illegal fireworks and drive them right back across the county line. And, hey, what's going on, Jenny? How you doing? Yeah, I'm shocked nobody in the hood's house burned down. You'd think there was just like some. I remember shooting Roman candles at my friends. That was the good old days.
Drive-bys with Roman candles.
Yeah. I don't see how the kids don't do that today. I know they're a little more fragile than what we were back in the day.
Well, the fireworks suck now. If you get the you get the Roman candles at the stands here in Kansas. I mean, no offense to them, it's all they can get. But
right,
the Roman candles right now are like this thin, and they're like 5 shots.
I ain't gonna lie, I really still enjoy those whistling kitty chases.
Yeah, even though
I have fun with those.
Man, I had a guy that used to get the illegal stuff, and I would get off work and call this guy, and I'd stop by there, and it was in a garage. And I would go in there and I would buy stuff, and it was like $25 per mortar or whatever it was, but they were 3-inch mortars, and I didn't know that you want to bury a 3-inch. We had to bury a tube to shoot these off because they were like big artillery shells, right? And I didn't know that you need to bury a 3-inch tube. I buried a 3.5-inch tube. And we were in my neighborhood, and I dropped one of those concussion 3-inch mortars in that motherfucker, and I dropped that thing down. It shot up about eye level, bounced in my driveway, and exploded like 10 feet from me and my buddy. And I mean, it was like Saving Private Ryan. Like, we were both hearing ringing, everything was in slow motion.
Some kid's missing his arm, and he's walking down the street with it and shit,
dragging somebody's leg with you. And then I'm like, oh man, okay, it must have been a dud. So I take another one. And I put it in there again, light it, boom, eye level again, bounces under my roommate's car and explodes underneath it, sets off the fire alarm. Like, oh, man. What is wrong, dude? These aren't working. So I called the guy that got them for me, and I'm like, man, you gave me some bunk shit. These are duds. And he's like, well, you buried the wrong size tube, you dummy.
Right.
And I buried a 3-inch tube, and then they started going up, and then the neighbors thought I was cool. But man, you should have seen my neighborhood. Everybody ran inside when I lit that first one. Like, I'm getting out of here. I don't know what this guy's doing. And to be honest, I had no clue what I was doing either.
Man, let me talk about this White Claw real quick before we get with our guest. I had my first White Claw the other day, and it really reminded me of like New York Seltzer, that stuff from back in the day. I think they still make it today, but I drank it, and I was like, man, I couldn't drink 4 of these things without the alcohol in them. The aftertaste was just I made a post on Facebook. I said, because, there's all this talk about manhood and bullshit like that when it comes to this drink. And I said, well, I just had my first White Claw, and I don't feel any less of a man. But with that said, I'm never drinking this stuff ever again, And the aftertaste was just so gnarly. And maybe it's because I compare it to energy drinks. I'm not an energy drink guy at all. And so I don't know, just hit my taste buds wrong, and I just didn't like it, It's just like, ugh. But I ain't gonna lie, I did drink like 4 or 5 more of them bitches after I drank that.
Exactly. That's what happens. That's how they get you.
And the only reason I drank the rest of the pack is because the person who was giving me the beer did not want to drink them herself.
Man, I'm on the other side. I like White Claw. I drink White Claw.
I mean, her husband doesn't even drink White Claw. They just have this white. Like, why do you have it here?
Oh yeah, I mean, like, I'm getting to the point where I'm so lame now, where like my credibility doesn't really matter at this point. Like, I'm a dad.
Oh, man.
I wear Crocs. I wear Crocs to Home Depot. I don't care what anyone says, man.
I got dad shoes, man. After
I get done pulling weeds, I
got these big clunky Nikes that I wear sometimes to Walmart, man. There's some dad ass shoes right there.
I don't care what anyone says.
I don't care either. I don't care either.
Well, yeah. While we're thinking about it, guys, the show is proudly sponsored by Big Fish Bail Bonds. In Wichita, Kansas, they're the best bail bonds out there. If you guys happen to get in a jam, call 316-262-4100, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Have your loved ones wake up at home. Stuff happens, guys. If you need help, please contact Big Fish Bail Bonds. They've been a huge supporter of the show. They've been amazingly awesome to us. Thank you so much, Pat, for believing in the show, and we could not do this without you. Guys, if you need help, Big Fish Bail Bonds, look them up on social media, give them a follow, give them a share. Everything helps. So they're doing great things for us, and we're trying to return the favor. So thank you, Big Fish Bail Bonds.
And more importantly, jail just sucks.
It does suck. I haven't been yet, but we've been watching Oz. And I've heard so much good about Oz.
My butthole puckers up every time I've watched that show. It's like, oh shit.
Well, I know I'm way late to the party, but we're like 2 episodes in, and I'm like, man, this
is some scary shit.
Yeah, that's some scary shit. I don't want anything to do with that, man. That does not look.
Hell no.
That does not look good.
It's not fun, man. It's just not. I'm telling you right now, it's not fun.
So we have a guest.
None of that shit you're about to see has ever happened to me But I've seen it happen to others, just being a fly on the wall. Like, oh,
yeah, dude, I've heard the stories. I don't. I have friends that have spent some time in there, and I'm not cut out for that life, bruh. I'm not.
But Oz is a really good show. It really is a good show.
So tell me about our guest. Who's coming up next?
RCO Randall Conrad Olinger, a good
guys,
friend of ours.
Randy Olinger to the show. RCO,
bring that cat on, man. Where is he at?
There he is, the man.
There's my dog, RCO.
What's up, fellas?
How's it going?
Yeah.
Going good, man. It's good to see your faces.
How's life treating you lately these days? What are you doing?
Oh, man, I don't know. I mean, life is laid out a pretty wicked hand, man. You know, it's weird. But I mean, we're doing good. All things considered.
The fam's good. You guys are staying healthy, staying busy. Everybody's safe.
Yeah,
the essentials.
Yeah, we're good, man. We're sweating. You know, it's 100 degrees in Austin, and
it's 100 degrees here in the Denver area where I'm at, and I'm not even breaking a sweat. It's
no way, man.
There's no humidity, right?
No, I think we're probably only at about like 10 to 12% humidity right now.
Wichita is like walking into a blow dryer. Like you go outside and it's like a really hot blow dryer, just like 20 mile an hour, really hot wind in your face. And you're like, you walk from your car to the house and you're already sweaty. Oh, great. I got to take another shower. My wife is disgusted by me once again. It's so amazing.
Once again.
So Randall, does your AC have a hard time keeping up in Texas? I mean, I've been in some pretty cool, like feeling homes. But like most people tell me it's just hard as hell to keep their house cool when there's no shade around. So, I mean, you said it's hot as hell down there in Texas. I know it's hot down there.
Yeah, but it's hot and humid in Austin. Fortunately, I have a pretty rad air conditioning system. It gets cold in my house, dude.
Word.
Yeah. I'm very lucky in that regard.
So what's the plan for you? What have you been up to music wise? Tell the guests a little bit about yourself, about your journey, how you got to where you are, what you do. We'll embellish, of course, but let our fans, let our listeners know a little bit about you.
Yeah, man. I started writing songs in the Navy. We would go out to sea, and I was lucky enough to work in a space that had room for a guitar amp, small amp, and a guitar. Mm-hmm. And we would go on deployment, and after a 12-hour shift or whatever, I would go to the photo lab, which was part of our division, and just rock out on the guitar, man, and learn Alice in Chains songs and stuff like that. And I started writing my own tunes. And halfway through my enlistment, that's when I decided that music was important enough for me to pursue after the military. So I finished my enlistment and got home and tried to start bands and started a band, Workhorse.
Mm-hmm. And I've heard Workhorse. It's pretty badass.
Yeah. And then, Workhorse kind of morphed into this other band called Nautilus, which was essentially the same group at the end. It happens. And then I just started playing solo. I went to a Clutch show and saw William Elliott Whitmore, and that like inspired me to.
He's dope.
Yeah, that inspired me to start taking that path as well. And I never wanted to play just as a folk singer or just as an acoustic guitar guy. No offense, guys. Like, I don't have any problem with that, but I just wanted to play loud and stuff. So I stomped on shit and played.
And that's what makes your energy so unique when I've seen you live. That's what your personality and your persona on stage is pretty electric to me. So it's only appropriate that you do that. It really fits you and works for you well.
So did you know how to play an instrument when you went into the Navy, or did you pick up a guitar in the Navy and then you taught yourself there, or had you already been playing and you already knew how to play and all that type of stuff before you went? Or did you find your love for music while you were deployed?
No, I taught myself how to play guitar in junior high.
Okay.
Yeah, learning Metallica songs and that kind of thing, and that morphed into, you know, heavier stuff, Pantera and all that kind of stuff. And so my journey was always heavy music. You know, I like everything, but to me, nothing really hit that chord, you know, like heavy music. Yep. So when I started my solo thing, the only logical way for me to really execute what I wanted to do was try to have some kind of percussion in there. And
right,
you know.
So have you found that being in that niche, because I for people that haven't heard your music, which hopefully after they've seen the show and get to know you a little bit, they will, you can find his music everywhere. He's got some great stuff out there. You got to listen to it. But like,
and he's one guy doing all this stuff. So when you guys check out his music and you're hearing this awesome stuff going on, that's all RCO right there, man. That's all him.
Guys, if you're tuning in right now, please start a watch party, share it to groups, please share it on your page. Come into the original Sprout and Dusty Show live stream if you want to ask questions for RCO or us, or you have anything that you want to contribute. We are seeing the live comments. We're trying to feed off those. But please, you know, if you have questions, submit them. Please start watch parties. Please pump the show and help us get the word out. It helps our sponsors, helps RCO, all that.
Always.
I didn't mean to, I didn't mean to interrupt, but so I do have a follow-up question in that regard. So yeah, I mean, you came from a heavy background, and that's something that the three of us all actually have in common. Sprouts played in heavy bands. I played in heavy bands. You played in heavy bands. And we're all actually solo artists now also. So did you find it hard to book yourself because you were not necessarily in the traditional singer-songwriter genre? Did you ever have any issues with that?
I honestly didn't, dude. And the only reason I could really say for that is because I had built like such a good foundation of awesome people in the Denver area that when I started to do that, I didn't really have to try too hard to get shows, you know, like friends who had bands and stuff like invited me to open, and, you know, 4th of July parties, you know, I had buddies who would hire me for that kind of thing. So the Mile High music community, you know, really made making that transition pretty seamless, you know.
So how about in the metal bands, were you on the road with the metal bands? So you had connections on the road as well that help you tour, or did you just go out and make those connections yourself?
Yeah, see, I had to do that on my own. You know, Workhorse didn't do a whole lot of touring. We played like regional areas, Wichita, Albuquerque, stuff like that. But we never really hit the road like I did when I started touring on my own.
Okay, so you became more of a road dog as you got solo. We have someone tuning in from France right now. Bonsoir. Yeah. Jean-Baptiste Mika, hello. Thank you for tuning in. People are listening in France, RCO. You're a worldwide superstar now. How does that make you feel?
It feels pretty good, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Nice. France.
That's great.
When you go on to superstardom, don't forget about the Sprout and Dusty Show. We know we've got a lot of talented young up and comers,
and send me some hot chocolate and crepes.
For sharing
that stuff, man. That stuff is delicious. I mean, my path is very similar to yours, Randall. I mean, seriously, like I was in touring metal bands. I've been all over the country in them, and so. Finding gigs wasn't too hard at first. I think the thing that made my situation unique is that I'd already been gone from my hometown for at that point, 6 years before I started a solo project. And it was just amazing of all the support that I had back home in Wichita, Kansas still. You know, and I remember my first gig back there as a solo artist. There were all these metalheads there in like Slayer shirts, Maiden shirts, leather and denim. And here I am sitting on stage wearing clean jeans and a nice shirt, playing these soft acoustic songs. And I believe it was probably after the third or fourth song, this gentleman, he's an older gentleman, and he's watched me since I was a teenager. And he was like, "This is the quietest I've ever heard you sprout." I mean, I was just like, yeah, I know, but people really dug it. People appreciated it. And you never know what your fans listen to. And,
for sure,
you know, if they're fans of you, they're going to enjoy what you put out, and they're going to really have open ears and hearts with it.
Definitely, dude. And in my opinion, dude, the metal community is the most welcoming of all the music genres that I've ever been associated with. And I get lumped into all of them, dude. You know what I mean? I played with blues people and folk and Americana and like, but I do get booked with a lot of metal bands, and it's always awesome. It's just, I don't know, man.
I've opened up for a few.
Yeah, it's so weird. Like I almost find myself, because I'm in a little bit of a weird niche too. You know, I don't really fit into the Americana roots thing. I'm not quite country. It's a little bit, you know, whatever it is, but sometimes it's weird for me to book. I find myself getting booked on heavy shows quite a bit as like an acoustic opener. And it seems like the crowds are pretty much receptive. If you're playing some dark shit, they're like they don't care how
darkness comes in all types of forms, man. It really does.
They don't seem to care how it's delivered, you know. And then they seem to embrace you. The metal community has helped me get a lot of shows. Like most of my shows have been, you know, opening for metal bands or playing with rock bands and stuff like that. So I don't have any aversion to that. I know there's some people that are like really fickle about who they book with to maintain what genre they're in. And I'm like, I don't care if I play with country dudes, Americana dudes, roots dudes, blues dudes.
Ultimately all it is that we're all working musicians. You know, I ain't gonna job shame nobody. Just because I'm on a show with somebody who might do pop music, hey, they're working just like I am. We're all squirrels trying to get a nut, you know. I'm not gonna walk into somebody's job and kick the dick out their mouth. You know what I'm saying? Life don't work that way, man. We're all working, and we all respect each other as working musicians, and that's what makes relationships like these beautiful.
So speaking of working musicians, Randy, what are you working on these days? How's life for you down there? What's your fucking post-apocalyptic strategy look like these days?
I'm really stoked about what's happening, dude. You know, initially I was bummed about not being able to play shows. You know, we had a tour together that got canceled, and
broke my heart.
I had a couple other ones that, you know, the live show element has been completely like just taken away, and I was a little confused about how I was going to navigate that. And I just decided like I'm going to start recording my own music, you know? So I jumped in that hole hard and just wrapped up my own recording, had it mastered, and
nice.
Yeah, it was great.
New music by RCO, y'all.
How many songs is it? Is it a single? Is it an EP? Is it an album?
It's a single. I was approached by a buddy of mine who's an independent actor and movie producer, and he's working on a film, and he's like, I want to use your music. And I was like, absolutely, of course. And I'm like, well, I'm just now starting to record my music. How about I write one for the movie, you know? And he was super into it. And it took me 33 hours to complete one song, but like, I've spent so much time looking over shoulders over the last 14, 15 years, you know, that like I know my way around recording programs and whatnot, that I was able to figure this out. But like, I'm so stoked about recording my own music, you know what I mean? So my strategy now is recording my own music and putting it to videos. Like I did Low Gravity, which was a single that I recorded on my last tour, and did a video for that. And then I got this single.
So you're doing all the video. You're doing all the video content yourself, also.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. It's just like, it just makes sense, man. You know, like I can't really afford to have people do that, and I know enough. I know enough to, and I have the time. Why not learn it and
I started it on this 3 years ago. Just over 3 years ago, I became a amateur producer / engineer, and it's really opened up a whole new set of skills. And it's versatile, and there's always that kind of uncomfort and nervousness about doing your own stuff because you're not sitting in a room full of people and other opinions. So you're really in tune and focused on what you're doing,
right?
And there's more than enough learning materials for all of this type of stuff, man. And I commend you for getting into it. I've been encouraging a lot of singer-songwriters to have, just the basics in home digital recording, just for songwriting purposes. Even if you have to go to a studio, you can at least get your ideas down and send it to your engineer or your producer.
Oh yeah, dude.
There's just so much of an advantage.
Yep. I've reached out to Sprout a couple times because he's got more experience than I do, but he's also kind of just started a few years ago, because there's some guys that you reach out to when they know a ton about recording. You ask them a question and they come back to you with something and you're like, it feels like that guy's speaking Japanese to you. But I've reached out to a couple people, and I finally got this stuff going for the podcast, obviously, but I've got my little studio set up, and I recently just finished working on a demo that I recorded myself, but I did layers and recorded everything and multi-tracked it, and it's not perfect, but it's mine, and I did it, and it sounds pretty good, and I sent it to the guy that's going to record me. He's like, man, your demo quality has improved significantly. And that's really all I care about, man. Just getting better, growing, learning new skills. We're stuck at home, man.
That's exactly right. Why not, dude?
I'm going out tomorrow, and I'm wondering if there's going to be pitchforks when I play. So, gotta keep my social distance.
There he is. There's Dusty Grant. Woo, get him.
Gotta get my social distance on. But yeah, it's something that I booked. It's something that I booked before Corona even existed, and it's the last show standing. And it's a friend of mine's album release party, and the bars are open and they're taking precautions, and the bands are all on board with social distancing and trying to have an event that everyone feels comfortable and safe at. And we're going to see how it goes. But there are some people out there that are not liking that very much.
Oh, wait. Time out. So the show hasn't happened yet.
No, it's happening tomorrow.
No. Okay. I misunderstood the pretext. Yeah, dude. I mean, those shows are happening all over the country like that. I feel like it's, if you're social distancing, I can't really see a problem. You know what I mean? I've seen other bands do that. Like I'm choosing just to not play for the year.
It's hard not to have that stance, really.
Yeah. For real. I mean, I saw Dave Chappelle's a comedy special recently, and everybody was socially distanced except for when you came. There, you could only come in pairs, I guess. They had masks there for people. It was the craziest thing I ever saw. While the whole purpose for the message got across, everybody was still socially distanced, and nobody had a problem. I don't think there was any criticism about how they were gathering that I was able to find, and I went looking for that shit.
Me too, dude. I didn't see anything, and I think if you're gonna do something like that, that's fine. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that, in my opinion. If you're taking the precautions and you're being mature about it, and
I've been allowed to go to work in a facility with way more people that are going to be at a local concert that's already restricted on capacity.
You work around a couple of hundred people a day.
You're working 100 people a day. You're going into Lowe's or Home Depot. There's 700 people in that place. You know what I mean? I've been doing that, and then you're saying that it's unsafe for me to go into this place and play my guitar for 45 minutes.
Places are different too, man.
Who is discerning which place? Why is that so much more dangerous than standing in line at Home Depot? I don't understand. Yeah, I'm not a scientist either. I mean, look at me. I'm a big dumb animal, but I don't know.
It's like this,
homie. Like how people discern.
Let me give you a good example. So I live in Parker, Colorado, and I went to a Texas Roadhouse the first place I went after I was able to go out and eat at a restaurant again. Every other table was separated. I mean, like you couldn't use the table, whatever. Everybody was spaced out pretty good, 50% capacity. It was all good. You had to wear a mask when you're walking through the dining area, and you have to wear a mask when you walk to the restroom and walk out of there. At your table, you're cool. Everybody's distanced. Nobody had a problem. But I go to a Texas Roadhouse in Wichita, Kansas to have dinner with my sons, and the place was at full capacity. Nobody walked in wearing a mask. The only people wearing masks were the employees. I will say that the employees did a good job of protecting themselves because they have to. All them people in there not giving a shit, you know, basically. But you're at a restaurant sitting down. I'm shocked at Texas Roadhouse for knowing what's going on. And I know they can do whatever they want, wherever, depending on what the laws or the scare is that week and how they operate. It was just the weirdest thing because now people are paranoid to be together, you know, and it really does suck. But they didn't do any type of social distancing. They were just like, people want to eat here. We need to make the money. Fuck it. And that's what it was about ultimately to me.
That comment from Candace there, it's worth taking the extra precautions to be able to gather once again and share a transcendent music.
Absolutely.
I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Good one, Candace. That's very good.
And that's an amazing comment, but there's a lot of layers to that comment for me. Whether or not, I don't care which side of the political argument you're on. I don't care which side of the science you're on. I don't care what anyone says. None of us have enough data to really make a real judgment about what this shit is.
We don't know shit.
You can't even look. You watch one news station, it's one thing. You watch another one, it's another thing. The data here doesn't match the data here. This is that. This is skewed. This is that. This is that. Everyone can be entitled to their own opinions. I totally get that.
Yeah. What it boils down to, man, is you just have to have like character and give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like if you're gonna do a show, that's fine. Take the precautions and like. Treat it as if you're going out to do whatever. Like
whether you agree with it or not, there's these people that are hard-headed and they have to like prove this point and like insult people and like be this abrasive thing. And I think we can get past that without that happening. You know what? Whether or not I believe in wearing a mask, I'm not even saying I do or don't because I don't want to be burned on the cross here. But like. Whether or not I agree with
somebody
will
find a way to put you there anyway. Speak your mind, brother.
Exactly. If it makes everybody else that's there at an event that I'm playing, if it makes them more comfortable, regardless of my stance on it, I will wear one. Mm-hmm. I will wear one to make everybody feel more safe. I will do the precautions. I'll stay away, whether or not I'm on either side, whatever the politics are. I'm in a room full of people at the capacity that allows for social distancing. I will respect those rules. Let's try to have a show with those rules on and prove people wrong.
Yeah.
Let's have everyone stay safe. Let's have everyone get in the community. Let's share our art. Let's do this. Let's not get so violent about every.
I look at it like this, dude. Man. I look at it like this, Dusty, okay? My whole life, from as a little kid, I've always wanted to be a ninja, and now it's my fucking time, dude. I could walk out of the house and look like a ninja, dude. Like,
it's been great.
People will look at you like that too, dude, especially in Texas sometimes, dude. They're like, I love it.
I mean, I look
and
at
they
this
don't know
way.
any better, dude.
No, they don't know. I was asking Fox if I could get like a Sub-Zero outfit and wear it into the gym to train for jiu-jitsu one day. But I don't know. I don't know if you can just find one of those like relatively cheap, but just social distance Sub-Zero coming in for jiu-jitsu with a mask on.
I don't know. I guess my opinion on the whole thing is that people kind of, when it comes to this, I think people, because they are so enwrapped in their kind of beliefs and thought processes of the time and how they want to mesh things, I just decided to keep it pretty simple. What we're dealing with here is a damn virus, and a virus doesn't have opinions. It doesn't have a political party. It doesn't care what color you are. It doesn't care if you like Sprite or Sierra Mist or Coors or Budweiser. It don't give a fuck about any of that. It gives a fuck about finding a human host and making something sick. So if I can help my fellow man by wearing a mask, I know I might get sick. Hell, masks aren't even 100% proof anyway. I know I could get sick, but I don't want to have the feeling of knowing I got somebody sick.
That too, absolutely. And also just the in my opinion, the mutual respect of hanging and interacting with your fellow human being, dude. Like, I care about you, so this is why I'm wearing this. Like, I don't give a fuck about like anything other than that. I don't care about American politics anymore, man. It's a joke to me, dude.
It's garbage.
I mean, I care about it. I'm very outspoken about it, but like, I care about people. And
period. That's where I'm at.
I'll put on a fucking mask, dude, and do my shopping. Why not?
If it makes everybody else more comfortable.
Shit, most of society think I'm ugly anyway.
Yeah. I mean, regardless of what your stance is, if it makes everybody else a little more comfortable, whether I agree with it or not. I'm not saying I do or don't. I'm just saying if it's going to make everyone else around me in public in a situation that's already seems a little more tense anyway, if me putting one on makes everybody else feel a little better, I'm down to do that.
Yeah.
I mean,
and this segment's been brought to y'all by OG Kush.
OG Kush and Big Fish bail bonds because but yeah, I don't want to make this into the Corona cast. But I honestly feel like it's almost irresponsible to not talk about what we're all experiencing as artists.
For sure, man. For sure.
I'm sure people that love your music are curious about your perspective on this thing and what you're doing. So I definitely don't want to be cliche and like cheese.
I'm politically outspoken and I'm not ashamed of it, dude. I've been told a handful of times and I've, to stick to music and that kind of shit. And I
hate that shit.
When someone tells me that, I'm like, dude, why don't you go back to plumbing? What gives you the right to have an opinion and not me because I fucking play music? Like, I don't like that shit, dude.
I don't like that shit either. Dusty and I had the same conversation earlier.
Yeah, it like I don't care. I'll speak my mind about this country, dude. I care about it. So you're gonna have to listen to it and or not. Like, I don't care.
Well, you have the microphone right now, and they don't. And we've got a question for Randall Conrad Olinger from Kenny Bollinger. Kenny Bollinger. Kennard Skinner is chiming in. Sprout and Dusty alumni Kenny Bollinger is chiming in with a question. He wants to know about Randall Conrad Ollinger's music influences. If you guys haven't heard him, he's like a Delta, swampy, stompy, honky-tonky, badass, slide guitar blues, ass-kicking metal guy. He's got a little bit of everything. So like, preach, brother. Who are your influences?
All right, I'll try and make a very complicated question very simple. All right, like I learned music from my mom. Like, she was big into Elvis, Fats Domino, Buddy Holly, all of those things. I grew up Ray Charles, all of that stuff. I was like, it was always on.
Some of my favorites,
waking up on a weekend, to my mom vacuuming to Elvis Presley, Fats Domino.
That's a common tale right there. Why do women clean and listen to Elvis at the same time? I don't get it, but hey,
I'm grateful for it because I latched on to music quickly, and my older brother was into heavy music. He gave me and Justice for All. That was like my first
fantastic
metal album, and then, I lived through the grunge period at the perfect time, at the perfect age, while I was learning guitar, so all of that is in there, dude. And then I learned blues afterwards, like I went backwards and studied blues, and then I took jazz in college after the Navy. And so there's a lot in there.
May I ask you about your blues influence in particular? Because, man, that shit really stands out, and it stands out in a way to where, like, you're forced to pay attention to it. You have this modern feel that puts the listener back into a time machine, and I like the ruggedness of the sound, and like when it comes to that style of blues, who did you listen to the most?
Son House.
Yeah, I was hoping either that or Sonny Boy Williamson, one of those two guys.
I don't know too much about Sonny Boy Williamson. I'll have to dig into that. But you know, dude, Sunhouse was like, as soon as I heard Sunhouse, I went down this journey. It was like this like spiritual awakening for a musician. You know, I was like, this is to me everything that I loved about music. It seemed to like start from Sunhouse after I discovered him. You know, I was like, this is heavy music.
Oh yeah.
Before any of that shit, you know what I mean? It was
especially
real
on the guitar tip.
Yeah, it wasn't just like hokey bullshit that like white people listen to and dance together. It was like, this is real deep shit that is heavy and like dark.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah, it was dark.
and being a fan of heavy music and hearing that in a more roots, you know, platform or whatever, it just it blew me away, and like I latched onto it real hard, you know.
Oh yeah, I know plenty of Sunhouse fans. I'm being one of them, you know. Like I didn't have a respect for the blues until I started living with my grandfather. He was an alcoholic, and here I am listening to all this like punk rock and hardcore, and hey sis, what's going on? And you know, he used to drink and listen to records in his living room. And I remember, you know, his turntable was old, so he had to put a penny on the, you know, the top of that thing. But I actually learned and respected the blues then, because I knew my grandfather, and then I knew why he listened to certain things. Sunhouse was one of them. And it was just one of those things that brought him back home to his roots. That was the times he felt most at home. So yeah. I can definitely see where you're coming from and the reflection on how hard you hold on to something.
Hell yeah.
Oh, here we got Kenny again.
We have much more important shit to talk. I mean, I know we're getting we have some seriously important shit to talk about right now.
That is some serious shit.
I mean,
that is serious. Let's do it.
Andre the Giant, Brutus the Barber.
Hold on. We got to set this up. Jesus Christ. This is a fucking professional show. This is a professional show. Ladies and gentlemen, Kenny Bollinger chimes in with the question for RCO. We need to know who your Mount Rushmore of pro wrestlers would be. Top 4. And go.
All right. Andre the Giant. Okay. Brutus the Barber Beefcake. I just love that name, dude.
I mean, man, he was dope too. Yeah.
Randy Savage. And
okay, it's a good one.
Who could I throw in there? There's so many options, man.
That ain't no joke, bro.
That clearly missing.
What's that, dude?
There's an obvious one that you're clearly missing, but I'm not going to give it to you.
You can't give it to
Our listeners want to know.
They totally want to know.
If you're watching live.
I guess I couldn't really deny my childhood self. You know, I got to throw Hulk Hogan in there, dude.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
You remember like the thumb wrestlers, dude?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Back in the late 80s, they came out with those things, man. Me and my brother had those things.
Yeah.
I'm a Hulkamaniac till I die. I don't care what anyone says.
I was gonna say Undertaker.
I grew up.
That's my sister. She loves the Undertaker.
So Sprout, who's your Mount Rushmore?
My Mount Rushmore.
I'm not even, we're not judging. I just want to know.
No. It's cool. I do like Bret Hart. I love him a lot. I liked Andre the Giant, and then I loved Coco Beware. I was the guy who liked superstars, but like not like the main ones. I love them, but these were some of the wrestlers that made the world go round, and I really love Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Yeah, dude.
Now, the king of all of those, in my opinion, of all time, is my personal wrestling hero, Mick Foley. So I have a top 5 with Mick Foley taking number 1.
You can't have 5. I'm
gonna make it 5. I'm gonna make it 5.
We didn't give our guest 4. We didn't give our guest 5. We gave him 4.
Hey, I'll give Randall 20 more minutes to think of one real quick if he needs. Hey, it's a democracy. Yeah. Go ahead, get you one more.
My 4 are Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, Andre the Giant, Randy the Macho Man Savage.
Right on, dude. Ultimate Warrior. That's a good one.
The Ultimate Warrior is like, I can remember when that guy used to come out and they had like the metal riff, like his walkout song, and he just comes sprinting out there and hanging by the ropes, man. I mean, that shit got me pumped up.
So Kenny, he goes, his Mount Rushmore is Roddy Piper, Andre the Giant, Macho Man, Steve Austin, and Chris Jericho. I think he gave 5. So great. Thank you.
So I get one more.
Yeah, he said we're adding another person to the mountain. Yeah, go ahead, y'all.
Sting. I'm going with Sting. I love Sting. Dude.
Hell yeah, dude.
It's because I want to love Sting. I don't care what anyone out there says.
Hey, you ain't got no qualms with me, bro. Sting was very entertaining, man. He was entertaining and charismatic.
Dropping down from the rafters with the baseball bat, like
WCW days, bro.
That was the days I loved, man. That was
like the Monday Nitro.
Yep. I used to get together with my buddies for Nitro parties and crush really shitty beers.
I remember watching the episode of Monday Nitro when this mysterious character came from the ceiling. We hadn't seen Sting really in a couple of years at that point. I was still in high school when this happened. So like when Sting comes down and they show a close-up of him, I barely recognize him. But before I determined it might be Sting, I was like, why didn't Brandon Lee beat people with a bat to death in the Crow? I was like, man, why did he beat people with a damn bat? But no, when I found out it was actually Sting, I was like, wow, I was impressed. He looked different and like he was just a lot colder. That's what I loved about his character the most.
He was dark.
Period. Man.
Guys, if you haven't checked him out, backhomemedia.com produces the show. They bring us an awesome platform to have guests on and have a quality production for you guys. If you haven't had a chance yet, please shout out Back Home Media. Follow them on Facebook. Check them out at backhomemedia.com. They're producing a lot of awesome shows. Sprout and I are going to be doing some guest appearances, doing some cross promotions with some of the Back Home family. We're stoked to be a part of it. Please connect with them because they've done us a great job. And also don't forget that Big Fish Bail Bonds is the way to go if you need to get out of jail.
Because jail sucks.
Hell yeah.
So what's new? So when are you going to release your new music?
Dude, as soon as this movie is wrapped, and they say that I can, I'll throw that single out there.
So they are definitely using it for the movie, and you're waiting on that before you can actually release it. So you already have a deal in place for that.
Yep.
Fantastic. Awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. I'm stoked, man. That's awesome.
Do you know what the movie's about?
Yes, it's a horror film of some sort. I was just given just enough of the gist of it that there's some sort of underground monster element.
Okay.
Yeah,
I can dig it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking was Tremors, and
I love Tremors so much.
Right on,
I do too. I don't see why that movie. I don't see why the first two anyway get so much hate. After that, I don't give a damn. But
there's a lot of haters, man.
Why do they hate? Okay, there's three things in this world I don't understand that gets so much hatred. Tremors, the Spin Doctors.
That's amazing.
Oh, I get that.
Lars Ulrich. Why do these three guys get so much damn hate? Lars Ulrich sucks, but in 1986 he was the best metal drummer in the world. Now he's chopped liver, man. People need to get the hell on out of here with that shit, man. Why do those three things get so much hate on planet Earth?
Tremors is a quality piece of American cinema. I don't care what anyone says. That movie is a fucking treasure. That movie is a treasure.
If you take life too serious and you can't fucking enjoy Tremors, you're an asshole, dude.
Yeah, it's like the people that watch Starship Troopers and they think that was supposed to be a serious movie. It's like the campiness is part of what makes that movie so fun.
It makes it go, man.
Embrace the cheese. You gotta get it. I'm not sitting there like, oh, that could never happen. That big
not at all.
Snap that guy's head off like that. No, there's no way. No, I want to. When I watch a movie, I want to take a ride, and I can totally get behind the campy shit.
Totally.
I mean, Sharknado got big by being hated. I enjoyed every second of those movies, all of them. I enjoyed all the Sharknados.
Yeah,
they kept people with jobs. I like that.
Tara Reid is still employed.
Yeah, dude. That dude from 90210, man.
Ian Ziering.
Ian Ziering.
That guy. I was like, holy shit. Like, that guy had a job for a few years because of Sharknado. I'm just like, this is unbelievably awesome.
Hell yeah, dude. Could you imagine like being that dude and be like getting that phone call like, yo,
yes.
we got this part for you. It's about a shark and a tornado. Like you're perfect for it.
Hey, jab's a job.
I say no more. Say no more.
Job.
Send the contract. Randall Conrad Olinger, Candace Sandahl, best show you've had and where?
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh man, that's a hard
Not
question.
To put you on the spot.
Yeah, it is. I got asked that last week, or a couple.
I'll go two ends of the spectrum on this one. I actually had a rad opportunity to open up for William Elliott Whitmore at the Marquee Theater in Denver.
Okay. Good.
And this was like fairly early on when I started playing solo, like a couple of years in maybe. And it was obviously, I mentioned him before. And so I was stoked to open up for him. And there was the billing was supposed to be me, one other act, and then William Elliott Whitmore.
Okay.
And I believe it was sold out. And I get there and I unload my stuff and the manager comes up and he's like, hey dude, the middle act got into a van accident or they can't come, and so they're like, how much music can you play?
How much do you want me to play?
Yeah,
I love that question.
Yeah, I'm like, I just said whatever you need me to do is what I'll do, and they're like, perfect. And so I'm like,
of course,
shitting my pants watching this place fill up. You know what I mean? And like the nerves that I was experiencing were unlike anything I'd ever experienced in my entire like music career up to that point. And it was amazing. I played great. The crowd was very receptive. I sold so much merch. I think I paid my rent from one night, and it was just, it was great. It was so awesome. That many people and like opening.
How long did you end up playing for?
Like a little over an hour. I think they pushed the show a little bit and then I got to play a little extra. So like I got this really, really sweet spot,
If it's going good. If it's going good.
I gotta be honest.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest. Some of my favorite shows that I performed solo were the 4-hour ones. Those are some of my favorite shows. I remember the first 4-hour show I played, there was probably it was in Tulsa. There's probably 3 people in the bar. And they actually sat there all night in front of me. And I actually got to be myself.
Right.
It was nuts because they don't know what I'm like in intimate settings such as that. People don't really like to associate intimacy with their art while performing, especially the listener sometimes. But man, I might have only made $30 that night, but man, I wouldn't trade that experience for anything in the world. I got to play everything I knew and wanted. And, it was just good.
Totally. And the other end of that I would say I recently played Old Quarter in Galveston. And it's like such a special room. It doesn't hold many people at all. The night I played, there might have been 10 total people there. But I've always wanted to play there. And it was just it felt magical to me. You know what I mean? So that stood out on the other end of, going from playing for a bunch of people and opening up for somebody that you always wanted to play for to playing this smaller, more intimate venue. I would say those are probably my 2 top for sure.
Okay.
Where was your first show as a solo artist? Was it in Denver?
Lions Lair.
Do you remember it?
Oh yeah. I remember it very well, and it's amazing that I do because I was so freaked out, dude, that I had to go at least 3 tequilas in to get the nerves down. And
I'm a tequila drinker too, bro.
Hell yeah, baby. And I continued on that train after my set and ended up falling asleep in my van.
Oh man.
Because I was terrified, man. I was a wreck, Dusty.
Well, I remember my first show ever was at the Elbow Room as a solo artist. My first show ever was, I think, did I open for you? I think I opened the show. I think I played first.
You were, man.
And I got on the bill, and I didn't know you, but Jason Catlett hit me up, and I'd recorded a couple songs with him at Magnitude, and he hit me up and he's like, "Hey man, Randall, my buddy's coming. It's time for you to take a show." And I'm like, I don't really think I want to. And he's like, "Put me in a pussy, take a fucking show." I'm like, "All right, I'll take a show." So I took the show, and I remember being backstage, and I was warming up or whatever I was trying to do, and I was shit my pants so bad. and I hadn't really met you yet much, and you're like, "Hey, dude, you seem a little nervous," and I'm like, "I'm pretty nervous, man. It's my first show ever." You're like, "All right, man, just throw yourself out in the fire. Just accept it. You're gonna suck tonight." He's like, "Just go out there." It's like it was just really it was actually like very calming advice to me. Right. And from that time on, I had started watching you just because I liked you as a person from that moment on, because I was so inexperienced, and to have someone with experience go, "Man, you're basically just like, fuck it, man. Just go out there, play the show, get it out of the way. Just go out there, do your best, man. You've done the work. Go out there and throw yourself to the wolves." And like, it was the best advice I could have possibly given at that moment. So
right, yeah.
I'll always remember you for that. That was my first solo show ever, and I've been watching you ever since, man. It's been cool to develop a friendship with you. That's for sure.
Hell yeah, man.
Not to get too cheesy, but I do that sometimes.
Embrace the cheese.
Okay.
Yeah, that smoked Gouda is some nice stuff to hold on to, man. I'll tell you that right now.
Well, yeah, we did the Tulsa Wichita combination together too. It was us.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah,
that was at the Ed's Hurricane Lounge.
Yeah,
and
that's right.
Elbow Room.
Yeah,
and I believe Felina. What was it? Felina was on that Wichita
I think
show.
It was Rise Again, right?
Yeah, it was.
It was Rise Again because
it was just us four.
Yeah, they did Ed's and they did that, but. Yeah, it's been fun, man. Like we had a tour plan this year for Colorado, and we didn't get to do it. And it makes me very sad.
You know what? We should once all this stuff goes away. We should all plan a tour together, go on the road, drink a lot of tequila and beer. Hell, I might even find mushrooms. I don't even fucking know, but we'll have a good time.
I mean, whatever. I mean, let's go.
Why not, dude?
I mean, we definitely have a good time. I've always had a good time on the road with Dusty. Never a dull moment. Never a quiet moment in the van. Neither one of us have annoyed each other to the point to where we're like, "Shut the fuck up," And Trent, our driver, he not once had to turn around and be like, "Hey, shut the fuck up." He's never had to say that to us, so that's always cool.
I'd hit the road with you guys anytime, man.
It would be so much fun, man. We're gonna do it when this stuff's normal, but like when is that gonna be?
Who knows, dude? I don't even know what normal is gonna look like.
If you have a crystal ball, Randall Conrad Olinger, when is your next live concert?
Wait, hold on. Let him put on his turban and get his crystal ball out and sit on his pillow. He'll let him.
I mean, is it 2022? What is? I have one show booked right now, and it's tomorrow. And then I'm baffled about what to even do going forward.
Yeah.
I mean, what's your plan? You're basically, you said you're not going to play this year, so you're going to write a bunch of music and then try to tour hard next year.
Dude, if the opportunity presents itself in the way that, like, recently I saw at the Oriental Theater, Granny Tweed played a show where it was more like a video broadcast kind of thing. I would do something like that on that level. I'm not super into doing a live streaming show from home. I did one of those, but it's really hard to dial in a one-man band, loud sound with what really I have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm not really too concerned about doing something like that. But if somebody hits me up and says, hey, we're going to do a show where you come to the venue and we broadcast it, I would do that. But as far as like an actual show with a live audience actually there, I'm looking probably next year. You know, I just want to know that it's going to be comfortable and I don't have to worry about like what you're
what I'm encountering.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, it's just, that's stressful, dude. I can tell you're stressed out about it. And
yeah, I definitely do. I definitely don't have the intention to come off like this fucking, America guy. Like, I'm not wearing this mask because I don't have to. No, I'm not trying to come off that way. Like, I'm totally going to acknowledge the rules. Here in Wichita, things are open. The venues are open with rules and with precautions.
And I think that's okay, dude.
I'm going to show up. I'm going to follow those precautions. I'm going to do as I'm told. I'm going to not do anything to make anyone uncomfortable. I'm going to play my show to the best of my ability. And I'm going to hope that Kenny and Daria have a great night at the bar. And that's what I'm going to do. And it's almost like some people feel like because you're playing a show, you're like attacking them. It's like you're like a terrorist for playing a freaking concert at somebody's place. It's just such a weird. I've never experienced that before because I think most people that know me know that I care about people and I care about my people especially. And like I have a big heart and I'm a kind-hearted person for the most part. And it's just a little bit weird to see some numbers dropping and some people kind of chirping about.
What Sprout said
trying to help a friend
about the Dave Chappelle show was spot on. It was done in the way it should be, where people care. People were wearing masks. People were spread out. Like, that's okay. You know, like, I think if those precautions are in place and everybody's playing by those kind of rules.
It was an outdoor venue as well, but I think the same thing can be achieved indoors.
Well, yeah, because they've just I mean, like, it's almost getting to the point where they're like instituting new stuff so much that I don't even know that I know what the new rule is today.
Yeah, it is hard to keep up.
Because every day
it's like that here in Colorado for sure.
Every day there's new science. Every day there's a new precaution. Every day there's a new limit on how many people can go into a venue, or there's a new limit on how many people can go into a restaurant. You see this, you see that. There's the World Health Organization, there's KDHE, there's CDC, and all the numbers are different, and there's really nothing that you can read. And you're just sitting here and you're like, I just want to go help my friend out. Why is everyone so fucking mad at me? Why is everyone so mad at me?
It's a tense world, brother. You know what I mean?
Trying not to cry.
It's scary out there.
Dear Dusty Grant fans and haters, he loves y'all. He don't want the worst for y'all. I mean, he does the best he can. These businesses, these bar owners, club owners, they do the best they can. So please take it easy on my boy Dusty Grant. He's just trying to do his thing, you know?
Jeez.
Yeah, things are open too, man. It's like hard to argue. You know, like you can have your opinions all day long. If you're feeling healthy, you know what I mean, and you're abiding by the rules, that's about as much as you can ask for a country like America, dude. Like,
it's not like I'm not just saying this is me, but I'm seeing other artists are going through the same thing. I'm not just shining a light on my situation. I'm seeing that other artists are going through the same thing. So I'm bringing it to the attention. It's like, I'm not out here just like busting my ass to book as many shows as I possibly can.
And what you don't want to do is, I came across this the other day, dude, on the Facebook, is some dude in a band that we all know played a show after knowing being sick.
Yeah, I saw that.
Did you see that shit?
I saw that.
Oh, man.
That blew me away. And then he tried to lie about it and all this other thing. And then he posted a video claiming about how we're all jealous of his talent and stuff. I was just like, what is happening, dude? Like, sometimes
none of that shit I saw that video. None of that shit had anything to do with his talent. It had everything to do with his lack of compassion and
his personality. Yes, I mean, I agree 110%.
He was arrogant. He's fucking, man, he thinks he's the shit.
Yeah, you saw that.
Screw that dude, man.
Totally.
You don't care. You just don't care.
And I'm bringing that up, Dusty, because I don't think that's not what you're doing. I think that maybe these people that are dropping off, following you and stuff like that, like maybe that's the reason, but like that's a pretty extreme thing if you're following all the precautions, you know, just like everybody else is trying to do.
Yeah.
And still live in the world that we've grown accustomed to, you know, like you're not doing that. So
that's how I feel about it. Like, no, I know, like I've been in contact with everybody that's playing the show and we're all under the same.
Oh yeah.
We've already spoken with the venue, the guy that booked the show, everything. There's safety precautions in place. We've all agreed to them. We're all aware of them. There's not going to be any surprises.
Yeah.
And they've already got a cap set on what they can do legally and all that type of stuff. And it's like, there's still people out there that are going to call you a fucking murderer for playing a show. And there's just people that they just can't help themselves. They're sitting there on their phone. They've never been off their phone. They just sit on their couch and I'm going to talk shit to this guy and I'm going to do it to this guy. And those people can't help themselves. And
they go to a show once every 4 months and they feel entitled.
Yeah, they're sitting, you know, they're sitting home eating 6,000 calories worth of fast food a day and telling me I need to wear a mask. I mean, come on, dude. They're saying that the immune system needs to be a little better and we need to fight obesity. Like, why hasn't anybody said, why doesn't everyone lose 10 pounds and eat a little healthier?
You know what I like to do?
Have you heard that?
I like to go to McDonald's and get a cheeseburger and like put it between my face and my mask and then eat it.
And just puff it.
Eat it right to the mask.
And judge.
And then just like sit in my car and yell at everybody.
Yeah.
I want to do that with cinnamon rolls so bad.
Son of a bitch. I mean, it's just
cinnamon rolls so bad. Bro.
It's getting crazy, man. People are on their soapboxes so hard lately, and I don't even know what to freaking believe. I don't think anybody knows what to believe.
I just quit paying attention to it, man. Like, there's just so much more to life right now than what's going on and everything that we've got to be cautious of. I can't even say fear because, man, I'm not even sure what to fear if I had to go that way.
But, and I don't like that either, dude. People try and pass this off like people are fucking scared of shit. Like, I'm not scared of anything. I'm just trying to be cool and like be respectful to everybody. Like, I'm not afraid of the government taking my freedom. They've been fucking this game up long enough. I'm not afraid of coronavirus. Like, if I get it, I'll get it, but I'm going to take the precautions and abide by the rules. Like, it's ridiculous, man. Like, you don't
see people out. You don't see people that cautious over a common cold, really, and everybody gets those. You know?
You said it. You said it 100%. Like, I am not afraid to go out and start to live my normal life, and if that makes me a fucking redneck or whatever, I don't know what's the new term today that someone's going to call me for saying that or whatever. Like, I feel like you can't say anything these days without somebody labeling you as something. I'm the same as you.
You know what? Honestly,
I'm not.
I don't even know what a redneck is anymore. I don't even make those rules.
I don't know what anything is.
Myself.
I don't know what anything is. What can we can't? What can we say on this?
It's just simple, dude. You just got to take these issues and have compassion, dude. Like,
absolutely.
Just don't be an asshole.
It's just a simple rule. Just be compassionate and understanding, dude. Like, your opinions are your opinions. Be informed. Have compassion and don't be a dick. Like, it's not really fucking hard, but like, there's so many people that just cannot help themselves, dude. Like,
I honestly don't feel like, you know, you'd think at some point like social media would become, and I know we're going down a wormhole here, but whatever, that's what we're on this show to do. I know.
Talk about Galligan 15 minutes.
You would think that, like, you would think that social media is a pretty much an accurate representation and a microcosm of society. However, I don't see anybody in person, in public, as brash as they are online.
Of course,
as abusive and as demeaning and bullying, and there is so much of that is just unabashedly thrown around online. If you came up to me and you spoke like that to me in person, we're gonna have a problem, sir. I'm not saying I'm a tough guy. You know? I'm not threatening anybody. I'm not going looking for a fight. That's the last thing I want.
every now and then I'll run into somebody on the internet that was talking shit to me. And the crazy thing is like some of these people have seen me before in public, stood in front of me. They know I could be furious sometimes. Like after I've been drinking, I'm drinking to have a good time and relax and forget about what makes me angry. It's when I'm sober and remember your bullshit. That's when I get a little angry.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like I run into these people every now and then. They absolutely want nothing to do with me. And that's fine. But they had everything to say on the internet.
Oh,
they're not worth killing that day, honestly.
For sure, dude. I got confronted in Wisconsin from a Trump supporter that I had an interaction with on Facebook.
Wow.
And he came to my show, man.
Wow.
And
wow.
I was blown away, dude. No, I was like, look. Like, we can discuss this shit all day long, dude. I'll sit here and drink beers until this bar kicks us out. We can talk, but like, I'm not getting into this with you before I play because that's not where my head needs to be. And he was, he's like, all right, man, tried to like, rub me a little bit. And I was like, no, dude, like, if you want to hang out, watch my music, cool, dude. And you want to talk politics afterwards, I don't have a problem with that. But like, we're not going to do that right now,
Mm-hmm.
And we did. We got into a discussion.
Yeah, well, just a discussion.
Yeah. Which I always welcome, man. Like I will like have a discussion about politics with any living human being that wants to like talk about some shit. I'm well equipped.
With what I've gotten involved with. With what I've gotten involved with recently, it was really important for me to sit there and talk to people as well as listen. So
Sorry, hound dog.
Oh, okay. Nothing wrong with them. He's like,
look producer Jarek Relaford muting the barking. Look at the production. Look at the production quality of this show.
Sorry.
This is
thank you, Derek.
Stuff,
hey, Derek for back home, man. He's really
Derek
good.
From back home media represent.
Man, I need a sample of that. We're recording this. I need a sample of you. I'm gonna make a beat with your dog's voice.
I can send you some stuff, dude.
Please, I'll hook that shit up, bro. I'll even make a nice little 808 out of one of his low howls.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I can do that, man. I've made beats from like sounds of creaking doors.
Let's collaborate, dude. I'd love that.
Yeah, we can do that.
Do you have any collaborations that you're looking forward to, Randy? Anything you're working on with other artists, or have you been mostly just been working on your stuff? I've noticed I've been doing a little more like brainstorming about collaborations, but I haven't actually done one yet.
For sure, man. I actually did record vocals for Gordon Leadfoot. Okay. The singer Gordo from Granny Tweed has a solo thing called Gordon Leadfoot, and he had a song that I recorded vocals on. You and I talked about doing some stuff, dude. That'd be cool.
We still should.
Yeah, I've been talking to Dusty for a long time about doing something. We just haven't gotten around to it.
Yeah.
We could do some Beastie Boys shit with the three of us. That'd be pretty good.
Hell yeah, dude.
Sprout could come up with a beat, and me and you could have to throw down some raps. I would love that'd be a great challenge.
Do you have an actual 808, dude?
Yes, I do.
That's fucking sweet, man.
I also have plugins and other types of programs to help form and shape 808s. You can make an 808 pretty much out of anything.
For sure, dude. Yeah, that's cool, man.
My favorite 808 sounds are the ones that like they're distorted, but they sound like distorted 808 bricks just crushing. It just sounds awesome,
Sweet,
and
dude.
I use those specific types of 808 sounds for trap metal beats I might make. Have you ever heard of trap metal? The genre?
Man. No.
Well, it's a lot of people joke about it. A lot of people
is that like Ghostmane?
No. Have you heard of Scarlord? He's a really cool one. I love Scarlord. He was really good. And there's this guy in Tulsa right now. His name is Spades. He does that type of thing. Okay. And when I was on my vacation and I hung out one night in Tulsa, I went out to Had Enough's birthday bash, and everybody did a great job. But Spades brought the pain that night, man. Like it's intense screaming vocals, like you're listening to some type of like heavy metal vocals to these heavy ass trap beats and guitar samples. It's just crazy. Man?
Why not?
Oh man, they got mosh pits too. It's all. I was in it, man. I was getting down in that shit, dude. I know what the fuck to do. It was
I'm surprised you didn't blow an ACL. I'm scared to get in the pit these days.
Dude, I'm still in good condition, man. I take care of myself. I'm still in good condition, man.
Me too.
I'm still able to jump up and down and run around and bang my head all night without needing massage therapy for the next 3 weeks. I'm good at that, you know. I'm still okay for that for now.
Hell yeah.
but I you know, that style of music, that's what I would use those 808s for. But you could also use them in some more kind of stripped down boom bap type
for
thing.
Sure, dude. I have a 808 plugin that I use. It's great. So much fun, dude. Love it.
I don't know anything about that stuff. I don't know. You know, I just learned how to record an acoustic guitar on a voice. So like,
that's all right.
To add in like any MIDI effects or anything.
The next step is your MIDI controller.
It already feels too fancy to even talk about right now. It already makes my brain feel like it's gonna explode.
Nah, man, you got this.
The Sprout and Dusty Show is proudly sponsored by Big Fish Bail Bonds, your #1 bail bondsman in Wichita, Kansas, Sedgwick County. If you need help, 316-262-4100, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Have your loved ones wake up at home. Big Fish Bail Bonds has got your back if you're in Wichita and you fuck up.
Always.
Don't go to jail.
But if you do, Wichita, Big Fish Bail Bonds.
Jail sucks.
No doubt.
Hey, much love, Sonny. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for tuning in, brother. Have a good night, brother. Have a good day at work.
And I guess that's going to conclude our show for tonight as well. Man, Randall Conrad Olinger, thank you very much for being a part of the Sprout and Dusty Show tonight, man. It was always cool hanging out with you, bro.
It's a pleasure, guys. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
We love you, man. You're always welcome on the show. If you ever have anything to promote or anything, just get with us. We'll always share your shit. This show will always be a supporter of you. I'll always be a supporter of you. Sprout will always be a supporter of you. We love you.
You know it.
Thanks, boys.
Thank you so much for coming on. Sprout, you know what to do.
Yo, FatKid, drop that beat.
Well, I don't think it, I thought it, that's different. I said what I said and I meant it, or lamented. Words given weight without thought in a person, the way that I talk and the way that I ought to be able to pause and to say that the fault can be placed on my arm, to this playful assault, to this race in this arm. Pray for the day they could wait for the calm. You can't control the storm, only weather it, whether it's 5 weeks and 5 days of rain sideways, or scorched earth, search for depth or water, left with all the thorns, with the petals gone, settle on the breath of autumn. If the crown fits, wear it, the crown fits. If the crown fits, wear it. If the crown fits,